Alright, so I wanted to show you how we can use the calculator to find the probabilities instead of using the z-table, if that's what you prefer. So the calculator I happen to have on my computer is just this older one. So if you do have a newer one, which most of you do, just know that it's going to look slightly different on the screen, but it's going to do the same thing. So I'll kind of try to talk you through that, and then you can come see me if you have questions. So what I have here is this is the problem from the notes when we first learned z-table. This first question says, what proportion of walrus weights are less than 600 kilograms? So I have the normal model drawn out. I found my z-score already. All of that's the same as how we did it in class. So once I'm ready to find my proportion or my probability, instead of using the z-table, on my calculator, I'm going to go to second and then vars. This vars button is right here, kind of under the arrows. It says distra on top, which stands for distributions, which is what we're using it for. So second vars, and then we're going to go to the one that says normal CDF. We will never use PDF, ever, 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 ever. So normal CDF is the one we're going to use. And then inside the parentheses, we're going to put two numbers. We're going to give it a lower bound and an upper bound. On this problem, I don't really have a lower bound because I want to know what's less than 600. So it's kind of like I'm going from negative infinity to 600. But I have to put something as my lower bound. So what we do in this case, if I want a less than, is I'm going to make my lower bound -1, and then we'll do second comma. This little uppercase E is what we want. That stands for times 10 to the. So -1 times 10 to the 99. And what that does is it puts it as a really, 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 really negative number. So -1 with 99 zeros coming after it is what that is. And that just sets it really, 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 really low. Since I want less than, it's kind of the closest we can get to negative infinity on the calculator. So we're always going to set that as our lower limit, and then comma, and then your z-score will be your upper limit. Okay, so if you do have a newer calculator, the way this is going to look different is when you choose normal CDF on that second vars menu, it's going to bring up a little menu, kind of a fill in the blank, and it's going to ask you for a lower and an upper. So you would just, usually the lower is already filled in for you as -1 E99, and then all you have to do is change your upper to the z-score. And then you can go down to calculate or paste, I don't remember which one it says, push enter, and then it'll come up on the screen kind of like this, and then we push enter, and it gives me that probability. So this says 7.8 E-4, which means times 10 to the -4. Basically move your decimal place over to the left 4 times, and we get 0.0008, which is what we got when we looked on the z-table, or 0.00078, etc. If we wanted to do a more than, there's a couple ways we can do it. If we want to, we can basically keep most of the process exactly the same and kind of think about how we did with the z-table. I'm going to go ahead and find my z-score. So 780 minus 812 over 67 equals, let's do that on here because I forgot what that equaled. Probably could have figured that out beforehand, but I didn't. So negative 0.48. Okay, so again, I can do the same thing I just did a minute ago. I can do second vars, normal CDF, and I can do what I did before, set my lower as -1 E99, and then set my upper as my z-score. But if I do that, we're doing exactly what we did on that other one, which is we're telling the calculator go from negative infinity to this z-score, which means we're finding the less than probability. So just like we talked about in class, this is the less than, so this is that empty space that's not shaded. So if I want the greater than, I need to do 1 minus that number, which is this one. Okay, now you can tell your calculator to do greater than. That's kind of the difference with the calculator versus the z-table. If I wanted to, I could set -0.48 as my lower limit, and then I want to go to positive infinity since I want greater than, so I can give it +1 E99. And then it'll give me the right answer to begin with, and I don't have to do the 1 minus. So if you want to do it that way, you can, or you can just keep it as only ever change your upper z-score, or the upper limit to the z-score, and then just know if you want greater than, you do 1 minus. That's kind of up to you on how much you want to remember how to do in your calculator. The other one, okay, hold on. Alright, so the other one I wanted to look at is, this is number 2 on the back, where you're using the z-table or using the whole process backwards. So I want to know what weight will represent the cutoff for the bottom 20% of adult female walrus weights. So this is where we have the percentage we want, and then we want to know what weight will get us there. So the first step in that is to find a z-score. So normally we would look on our z-table on the inside where the proportions are and try to find 0.2 or as close as we can get to it, and then write down what that z-score is. But on the calculator, what I can do is I can go to second vars and then go to that third option, which is inverse normal. Again, if you have a newer calculator, this is going to look different. It's going to bring up a menu, and one of the options is area. So that's where we would write in the area that we want underneath the z-score. So I would put 0.2 in that spot that says area, keep everything else the same, go down and push paste or calculate or whatever it says. So if you have an older one like mine, you just put 0.2 in there, and then we push enter, and it gives us the exact z-score. So even our z-table would only give us 2 decimal places, but the calculator gives us even more. And then from there, we would do what we did in class, where we set that z-score equal to our z-score equation. So x is the observed value that we don't know, minus our mean of 812 divided by 67. You solve for x, you get what you get. I think it was 755 point something kilograms. So that is how we can use the calculator to do the inverse problems, which I think this is probably the easiest thing to do in your calculator compared to doing on the table, because you don't have to like search through an entire table for a specific number, and it gives you a more exact answer. So this is where I think the benefit is with your calculator. And that is all for today.